Every man is fighting a battle most people will never see. Not with the world, but within himself. A battle between who he is and who he knows he could become. A battle between silence and expression, between pressure and purpose, between survival and meaning. From a young age, men are taught to stay strong, stay quiet, keep moving. No matter how exhausted they feel inside, no matter how heavy the expectations become. Society praises men for discipline, control, and sacrifice, but rarely asks what those sacrifices are costing them mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's where the silent battle begins. Because behind confidence, many men carry fear. Behind ambition, many carry emptiness. Behind success, many carry loneliness. No one notices. They wake up every day expected to lead, provide, protect, compete, and endure, often without ever being taught how to process pain, failure, rejection, or self-doubt. The dangerous part is not that men struggle. The dangerous part is that many struggle in silence for so long, it starts to feel normal. This speech is about the war happening behind closed doors. The pressure men never talk about. The emotional weight hidden beneath calm faces and controlled voices. And most importantly, why understanding this silent battle may be the difference between a man who slowly breaks apart and a man who finally takes back control of his life. Because the strongest men are not the ones who never feel pain. They are the ones who stop running from it. Loneliness in men rarely looks the way people imagine it. It does not always appear as isolation, weakness, or sadness. Sometimes it looks like discipline, responsibility, silence. A man can be surrounded by friends, family, coworkers, even love, and still feel completely unseen inside. From childhood, many men are taught that emotions should be controlled, pain should be hidden, and vulnerability should be carefully locked away. The message becomes clear very early. If a man struggles emotionally, he risks losing respect, admiration, or even love. So instead of speaking, he performs strength. Instead of asking for support, he carries pressure alone. Women often experience emotional connection through conversation and shared vulnerability, while many men are conditioned to experience connection through achievement, protection, or usefulness. That difference creates a psychological gap few people talk about. A man may deeply care about the people around him, yet still feel emotionally disconnected because he was never taught how to express what is happening within him. Over time, that emotional isolation becomes dangerous because silence starts feeling safer than honesty. Many men become experts at appearing calm while internally fighting fear, exhaustion, rejection, and self-doubt nobody around them can see. Pressure becomes dangerous when a man carries it for so long that he no longer knows how to describe it. Many men wake up every day with an invisible weight sitting on their minds. The pressure to succeed, provide, compete, stay respected, stay emotionally controlled, and never fall behind. Even when nobody directly says these expectations out loud, men feel them constantly. Society often measures a man's value by what he achieves, how much he earns, how useful he is, and how well he handles stress without complaining. The fear of failure is not just about losing money or status. For many men, it feels like losing identity itself. Women often seek emotional reassurance during difficult moments, while men are more likely to seek solutions because they are conditioned to believe their worth comes from fixing problems. That psychological difference creates silent tension inside many relationships and inside men themselves. A man may struggle to explain what he feels because the pressure is not tied to one single problem. It is years of responsibility, comparison, suppressed emotion, and fear accumulating quietly beneath the surface. Many men are carrying anxiety they cannot name because they were never given the emotional language to understand what is happening within them. Emotional silence slowly changes the way a man sees himself and the world around him. Many men are taught that controlling emotion is the same as mastering it, so they learn to suppress anger, disappointment, fear, and sadness instead of understanding them. On the surface, that silence can look like strength. Calm behavior gets rewarded. Emotional restraint gets respected. But internally, unresolved emotions do not disappear. They build pressure over time, often turning into frustration, emotional numbness, burnout, or quiet resentment. A man may continue functioning every day while mentally feeling disconnected from his own life. Women are often encouraged to process emotions through communication and emotional support, while men are more likely to process pain through isolation, distraction, work, or silence. That difference creates misunderstandings inside relationships because many women interpret silence as emotional distance, while many men see silence as protection. Some men stay quiet because they fear judgment. Others stay quiet because they genuinely do not know how to express what they feel. Over time, emotional suppression affects confidence, relationships, decision-making, and even identity. The danger is not only that men hide pain from others. The real danger is that many men eventually become strangers to their own emotions. Modern life gives men more comfort than ever before, yet many feel more lost than ever inside. Endless entertainment, social media validation, constant comparison, and short-term distractions have created a world where many men are busy every day but deeply disconnected from meaning. A man can spend years chasing money, attention, status, or approval without ever asking himself why he feels empty after achieving them. The problem is not ambition. The problem is that modern culture often teaches men to pursue performance instead of purpose. They are pushed to look successful before they understand who they truly are. Women often search for emotional connection and shared meaning in relationships, while many men search for identity through achievement and external results. When a man loses connection to purpose, he also begins losing connection to himself and the people around him. Work becomes survival instead of contribution. Relationships become responsibilities instead of emotional partnerships. Even success starts feeling temporary because external rewards cannot replace internal direction. Many men are overstimulated mentally, but underdeveloped emotionally and spiritually. They know how to compete, consume, and perform, but struggle to define what truly gives their lives meaning beyond proving themselves to the world around them. Looking strong is one of the easiest performances a man can learn, but being strong is one of the hardest truths he can live. Many men are taught early that strength means never showing weakness, never asking for help, and never letting anyone see the internal struggle. So they build an image, a controlled voice, a steady face, a calm reaction, even when everything inside feels unstable. To the outside world, this looks like strength, but internally, it is often just silence wrapped around pressure that never gets released. Being strong, however, is not about hiding what you feel. It is about understanding it without being controlled by it. A man who is truly strong does not deny fear, stress, or emotional pain. He acknowledges it, processes it, and still chooses to move forward with awareness instead of avoidance. Many women often value emotional honesty as a form of strength in relationships, while many men are conditioned to believe emotional exposure reduces respect. This difference creates confusion, where men often choose appearance over authenticity. Over time, the gap between looking strong and being strong becomes dangerous. A man may maintain success, relationships, and responsibilities while slowly disconnecting from his own emotional reality. The mask works in public, but it becomes heavy in private. Real strength is not the absence of struggle. It is the ability to face struggle without losing self-awareness, identity, or emotional truth in the process. The moment a man decides to face himself is rarely loud or dramatic. It does not usually happen in public or in front of others. It happens in silence, when the distractions fade, when achievements no longer feel enough, and when the mind can no longer ignore what the heart has been carrying for too long. For many men, this moment arrives after exhaustion, failure, loss, or even success that feels strangely empty. It is the first time he stops running from himself and begins to notice the truth he has been avoiding for years. Facing oneself means confronting everything that was previously buried beneath responsibility and performance. It means acknowledging fear that was hidden behind confidence, sadness that was disguised as anger, and loneliness that was covered by constant productivity. Many men are taught to define themselves through what they provide, protect, or achieve, while women are often encouraged to explore emotional awareness and expression. That difference can make self-confrontation unfamiliar for many men, because they were never given permission to look inward without judgment. When a man finally turns inward, the discomfort is immediate. He sees the patterns he repeated, the emotions he ignored, and the moments he chose silence over honesty. But within that discomfort lies the beginning of change. Because awareness, even when painful, is the first break in emotional blindness. He starts to understand that strength is not built by avoiding himself, but by learning to stay present with what he once feared to feel. In that moment of self-confrontation, a man stops living as a reaction to the world and begins to reconnect with his own internal truth. The silence he once used to escape becomes the space where clarity slowly begins to form, not as perfection, but as honesty, finally allowed to exist without defense.